Beneath the beautiful Loire Valley skies, where history and beauty dance together, lies the Château de Azay-le-rideau, a hidden jewel of French Renaissance splendor. Today, I'm inviting you to see it like never before. Imagine the alarms turned off, the security barriers lifted, and every door unlocked. Yes, you heard that right. I was granted full access to explore this iconic chateau, inch by inch, corner by corner. This is not your typical tour. I walk freely throughout each room, untouched by restrictions, standing before treasures centuries old. Priceless artwork, intricate furniture, and grand chambers, all with stories to tell, all waiting to enchant you. Every inch of this stunning castle holds a piece of France's soul. Want to see the most exclusive tour of azay-le-rideau? Well, then let's go to a chateau.
Welcome to the 16th century Renaissance bedroom of Château azay-le-rideau. This is the first room you enter on the tour. This room was part of the apartments where the chateau's owners lived in the Renaissance. They were made up of a series of splendidly decorated rooms. This room on the first floor, at the end of the chateau's west wing, is filled with natural light from 3 windows. By using the spiral staircase that adjoins the dwelling, the mistress of the house could move around inside the chateau without having to use the grand staircase. This bedroom had multiple purposes during the Renaissance. Here you would sleep, eat, work, wash, and host guests. The fireplace would make the room comfortable by heating it up.
In 1577, the ambassador of Venice noted that there were rushes, mats like this, on the walls within the castles of France. Really interesting because what they did was they kept these rooms warmer during the winter and fresher during the summer months. This beautiful neo-Renaissance 4-poster canopy bed is absolutely stunning in person. It was typical of this era in that it has the 4 feet, but it's also on an elevated platform. This helped with insulation, but also was a sign of prestige. I'm standing in a turret right now, which was actually an office. This piece is from the 16th century. It's from Spain. It's called a barguino, and it's made of walnut inlaid with bone.
This type of desk had many purposes, which gave it an important role in the wealthiest interiors of the 16th and 17th centuries. The desk includes a small movable central panel that serves as a table for writing on and many drawers for tidying away archives and precious objects. Its style bears witness to a high level of mastery of techniques in cabinet making, marquetry, inlaying, and ornamenting. Its detailed decorative features, produced meticulously, are made up of twisted arcs and geometric patterns, as well as scallops on the slides. Welcome to the 16th century Psyche bedroom. This bedroom was part of the apartments where the chateau's owners lived in the 16th century. Like all ceremonial bedrooms, it is furnished with a bed, a major feature in the interior layout of a Renaissance chateau. In this way, the master or mistress of the house could host guests while seated on the bed, or, if it was too cold, actually in the bed. Guests would then be placed on cushions called squares or on chests. It is raised on a platform and enjoys a spot next to the fireplace to maximize the warmth it emits. This bedroom is nicknamed the Psyche bedroom because of the tapestries that adorn the walls. They enhance the room's decor, while adding comfort as they insulate the room against cold temperatures and noise. These fabric works reflected the great wealth of the apartments during the Renaissance. In its collections, the Château dazay-le-rideau has 3 of 17 Flemish tapestries that form a precious series ordered by Tobia Pallavicino, woven before 1578, and based on drawings by Giovanni Battista Castello. It tells the tale of Psyche, a myth taken from Metamorphoses by Apuleius, a 2nd century writer and philosopher.
This enormous space is called the Grand Hall. And do not let this size deceive you. It is almost as big as my house in Brittany. It is 155 mètres carrés, about 1,500 square feet. And in the 16th century, they used to host feasts and balls here. Can you imagine a night of dancing in a space like this? Sumptuous, full of velvet and rich color, this is the antechamber to a bedroom. This was meant to be a space for welcoming and waiting others before they entered the bedroom. And in 1619, young French King Louis XIII spent 3 days at azay-le-rideau.
Today, this room's walls are covered with a silk velvet lining created by the Touraine-based firm Rose. Based on a Genoa velvet model from the 17th century, the city of Tours was France's first silk-producing hub. Well before Lyon was. King Louis XI established the royal production of silk in Tours in the 15th century, and this activity grew quickly and became influential. In these workshops in Tours, fabrics were made for the famous Field of the Cloth of Gold meeting of King Francis I of France. The room is furnished with sofas with arms rising to their backrests and chairs with turned wood feet, characteristics of the Louis XIII style. Many paintings in this room show the kings of France, from Louis XII to Louis XIV. This bedroom, which lies beyond the antechamber, is where King Louis XIII of France stayed when he spent time at the Château in June 1619. The Château's owner hosted him at the time, Françoise de Souvre, the daughter of Gilles de Souvre, who had been the private tutor of Louis XIII. So the young sovereign knew Françoise well, and she was given the huge privilege of hosting him in her provincial home. We know that Louis XIII stayed in azay-le-rideau through records from his personal doctor, who wrote down all the details about the king's day-to-day life since he was born, especially in regard to his eating, hygiene, and health. Assembly of this cabinet dates back to the 19th century, but its aesthetic design reflects that of 1630 to 1640, especially in the use of black and white materials. This stunning piece is made of blackened pearwood to imitate the tone of ebony, and it has 6 drawers decorated with plates of engraved ivory. It stands on 4 delicate feet, and the ivory plates display scenes engraved and drawn with Indian ink. They depict the atrocities of the 30 Years' War, based on a series of etchings produced by Jacques Callot of Lorraine and printed in 1633 under the title The Miseries and Misfortunes of War. And in the cabinet's lower section, there are scenes of the banks of the River Loire, produced based on drawings by this printmaker.
Welcome to the Salon of Biencourt. In this space, I wanted to introduce you to 2 things that I have always loved as a favorite. The first is this salamander, which is the emblem of King Francis I. The next are these stunning portraits. These portraits are really special to this space. Let me show you.
The Biencourt Lounge is a lavish, comfortable living room that has kept most of its 19th century features, including tall double doors embellished with sculpted panels. Dado paneling with a traditional pattern of sculpted fabric folds, and a nailed wall covering painted like Renaissance Cordoba leather wallpaper. A fantastic collection of portraits includes Anne of Austria, Queen of France, Mary of Hungary, and Catherine de' Medici, as well as a magnificent painting of the processional arrival of King Henry III in Venice.
Imagine after a glorious meal in this beautiful castle, the fire going, you have cocktails, maybe a cigar, you retire to the billiards room. The Biencourt Marquise placed a billiards table in this room about 1856. And billiards at the time was actually a way to show off intelligence, dexterity, and elegance.
At this time, the room's ceiling of joists and beams was fully painted. A monumental earthenware stove stood where the current fireplace stands. It was dismantled at the start of the 20th century. The fireplace was installed in 1964 when the Château dazay-le-rideau contained a national museum about the Renaissance. It is a copy of a fireplace in the Château de Montal in the southern French region, Occitania. The casting of this fireplace in the Château de Montal was carried out by students of Auguste Rodin.
The heart of most homes is the kitchen, right? It's also the heart of our stomach, where we just love all the food, especially French food, right? And to me, visiting a castle's kitchen is extraordinary, to be transported back in time and see the way that they set up the kitchens, the original pieces in them. And I highly suggest that you come and visit Château azay-le-rideau in the holidays, because these spaces are transformed. They're absolutely magical. Right now, it's set for Easter, which is another special time of the year to visit in France. I will take you into the next part of the kitchen and show it to you how the owners actually raised the floor of the kitchen from its original depth. But these spaces are just absolutely so much fun to visit. I highly suggest it.
In front of the kitchen is an essential room in the chateau, the pantry. The pantry was used to store crockery, linen, and food. Its interior arrangement was reproduced based on the inventory of housekeepers working for the Biencourt in 1809. To understand how these spaces changed over time, you must understand how they were used in the 16th century. During the Renaissance, the kitchen already provided all the comforts required. A large fireplace crowned with a hood, embellished with the coats of arms of the chateau's owners at the time, was used to cook food. A well was used to draw water straight from the river Indre. The sink was linked to a network that would drain wastewater. The kitchen, corridor, and pantry floors were originally at the same level as the court, so that staff would not be seen by lords arriving in the central courtyard. In the 19th century, the Biencourt decided to raise these three rooms to the same level as their reception rooms. A ribbed vault stretches across the top of the room.
So in the 19th century, the Biencourt decided they wanted 2 dining rooms, and why not? Originally, the billiards room that we were just in was a smaller family dining room. So about 1855, right before they placed the billiards table in there, they decided to change that up into a gaming room. And this is the formal dining room.
From the French Revolution, such spaces gradually became widespread in affluent aristocratic and upper middle class homes. The design of this dining room perfectly reflects the standards of the art of hosting in the 19th century. The exotic wood furniture, the porcelain dinner set, the dishes from the East India Company, the damask household linen bearing the marquise's coats of arms, the crystal glasses, and the high-quality silverware all suggest a wealthy host who cared about the comfort of their guests. The table is currently presented with the dinner set of the Biencourt marquises following customs of the period. The walls are decorated with paintings of the countryside and hunting scenes that remind us of the rural environment in which the chateau lies.
Welcome to the Biencourt library room. This is a drawing room where they brought guests after a sumptuous meal in the dining room that we just visited. I love this space for all of the detail, the amazing furniture, and also for this beautiful clock. I would love to introduce you to this clock, so let's go take a closer look.
In this final room of our tour, the furniture evokes the pastimes of an aristocratic family of this era, such as card games, reading, and music. The atmosphere is cozy and hushed. Comfortable sofas, wing chairs, and armchairs from the Empire or Louis Philippe period invite you to unwind and chat. In this colourfully decorated room, the walls are adorned with wooden panelling and a fabric covering of floral patterns. The beams are painted, and the fireplace has a large blue hood with the coat of arms of the Biencourt family in the middle. The black heraldic shield with a silver lion crowned with gold is the coat of arms of Armand de Biencourt, and the golden heraldic shield with a red cross forming cantons in which there are 16 sky blue alarions is the coat of arms of his wife, Anne de Montmorency. Finally, this remarkable clock from the 18th century stands on a buhl marqueterie pedestal. It was made based on a drawing by Alexandre Jean Oppenau, a Dutch-born French cabinet maker who worked at the Gobelin manufactory. Jacques Touré made the clockwork mechanism.
And here's a little something extra for you. During our visit, the Indre River was flooding, and I wanted to share these spectacular scenes and images of the river surrounding Château dazay-le-rideau. Around 80 municipalities were affected by this flood. 562 residents were evacuated as a precaution from their homes near the affected waterways, and 300 animals were brought to safety throughout the department. According to the census that I saw, 400 homes were damaged by these floods. Just spectacular images of the water and the magnificent flooding and just its strength surrounding this castle. And I thought I'd share this with you as well. As we leave the timeless beauty of Château dazay-le-rideau, I hope you felt the same wonder and enchantment that has echoed through these halls for centuries. This chateau, this masterpiece of the Loire Valley, is more than just stone and mortar, more than just the grandeur of its design or the treasures within its walls. It is a living testament to the dreams of generations, the artistry of a nation, and the delicate balance between past and present. The beauty of France's national monuments is that they are living pieces of history, each with its own heartbeat. And just like the stories they tell, these monuments need to be protected, preserved, and cherished so that future generations can feel the same magic. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I'll include basic logistic information in the description below. Now, YouTube is going to recommend a couple more videos of mine that you might be interested in watching. Thank you so much for your support, and stay tuned for the next episode of Let's Go to a Chateau.